Bruce, what an honor. I'm so excited to talk to you this morning. How are you?
I'm great. We just had our documentary and hot dogs last night, and it was a lot
Yes.
of fun. Yeah.
I was going to say, how did it all go? Because I can't even imagine the response must have been fantastic. It's such a great dog.
Well, it is a good doc. I don't like watching myself, because there's four guys in the troupe who are really good, and then there's one person with really little swivel head and twitchy hands, and that's me.
Oh, come on. Give me a break. That is not true. But what is it like? I was going to talk about the doc later, but let's just go there right now because it's got to be so humbling for you guys, not only just to have reunited, gotten back together and do this show, but to have this documentary and then watch, statements from people that you've influenced over the years and hear what they have to say. How does that make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel great. I mean, at first when I was doing the show, I couldn't let the fans' attention into my body. It was just
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah.
And I think now that the show's in the rearview mirror, well, and we're doing it again, it's so great to have people go like, oh, my dad and I couldn't communicate, but we talked, we agreed on your show, or I was a queer kid in the prairies and we had nothing like that. And so I don't like, it's nice that some kind of famous people like us, but I could care less.
Right.
It's just the people is really exciting.
Yeah, and clearly, I mean, you've touched all our hearts. Look, I'm around the same age as you guys, so I grew up with you and followed you from and when I heard that you guys were getting back together to do this show, I got so giddy and excited. And when I watched the first episode of the new, and I just hearing that music gave me goosebumps. What was it like? Whose idea was it for you guys to do this, to get all back together?
Well, I don't know. Like, we're mysterious. Sometimes when you see like 200 birds on the highway and they're going in some direction for no reason, that's kind of the troupe. And like the weather, we decided for whatever reason that we should come back, and we all knew right away that we should do the OG sketch show. We should do the Shadowy Men, the Super 8 sketches, dress up as women when necessary, do some of our old characters, and we all wanted that. And for me personally, it was like, if the Shadowy Men will do it, then I'll do it. And of course they did it and recorded new music, and that's one of the great parts of the whole thing.
Yeah. What was it like for you? It's so funny just watching the sketches, and I'm just howling at every single one because it just, oh God, you guys are just so funny. You've not lost it. That is for sure. But to get back in characters, stick on the wigs, you and Scott, and just, oh my God, what was it like that first day when you were all kind of gathered back together and you did your first sketch?
It was exciting. Like, I mean, the writing process was more like, what do you got? Hey, who's late? But by the time we were there, and not to tell too much, we were all in a grave because we were being unearthed as we were buried at the end of the series, like joking and making fun of the director. It's like, oh, we did this 20 years ago. We're doing it again.
It's too funny. Yeah, that is a funny thing. And I love the reference to brain candy at the beginning too, that you've made your money back.
Yeah, just finally, we just barely, my wife says everything we touch turns to cult, which is why we live in the small house. But yeah, it's interesting to think about brain candy and our oeuvre in that way.
And is there any argument with you guys in terms of like who's going to do what sketch? Like who, do you pick straws, like who's going to drop trow and go naked, or I mean the stripper pole? There're just so many funny things. But how do you decide who's going to do what?
Well, that's part of the thing. You go, well, I go, yeah, one of the things that was one of mine, 60 and on the pole. It's like, oh yeah, I want to do that one. I want to do the, and everybody kind of gets to do their one. And then the ones that are clearly good, everybody knows. And then ever so often someone goes, oh, I really want to do this. And you go, oh, really, Mark? Okay, if you want, you can do it. So it's our process, and it's not easy, and material falls out and comes back in. And, that's the fun of the game in a way.
Why do you think it works so well with you guys?
I don't know. Like, it is like, why are you attracted to someone? You just see them. Whoa. Like, we do have a comic attraction, which Dave says in the documentary is almost like a love affair. And so I do feel like, even though, sometimes we drive each other crazy, there really is a kindness and a love and like a brotherhood that we didn't realize for probably till after the show was off the air, that we were brothers. And I always say that this is this is my second family. I've created my third with my wife and children, but this is my second family.
Right. And yeah, and clearly, look, over the years, you've all done your own things, you know, you've gone on to network TV and stuff like that. I just have to tell you, Bruce, that I literally just finished Molly Shannon's book. It's so good. And you know, when she talks about you and Superstar, and you guys are clearly still so close and such good friends, you know, what's that like for you to, you know, go off and work with other people? Like, let's talk about Molly, because man, what a story she has. And I was like, you know, amazing, just amazing.
Oh my God. And she is really one of my comedy heroes and one of the closest people in my life. When I see her, I almost burst into tears every time, you know. And we had done a screening of Superstar in San Francisco a couple of years ago, and I did a panel with her. I just love her. She is so kind, and she, like the kids in the hall, all has a wound that she has healed, and you know, has brought forth her comedy into the world. And she's just an amazing spirit. And my God, she just keeps going and doing all this amazing stuff.
Yeah, she's got that new show out now with Vanessa Bayer. It's quite fun, and it's great to see her. But she's, like I said, when I was listening to the book on my walks every day, the first chapter, I'm bawling my head off, then I'm laughing my head off, and then at the end, I'm bawling my head. She's got such resilience. Like, would you do another movie with her?
Oh, in a second. And we always talk about stuff. We got close to doing another TV series, but the way that the industry works, it didn't work out. But yeah, I'm constantly, and we email every few months. When are we doing something together? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want that to happen. So please make it happen for me, because I'm a fan of both of yours. So thank you. When you know, getting back to the show, and working with the guys again, you know, there's obviously, you know, you guys have, as you said, love-hate relationship, but what's it like when you are collaborating, and how does it work? Like, how do your brains work? I need to know this.
Well, again, with the bird analogy, an idea is like a bird flying around the room and somebody grabs it. Sometimes it hits the wall and dies. Two people really like it. Sometimes we can move slower than anyone in the world when we're just staring at each other. And sometimes I think we move faster than anyone in the world when we bubble out and the people taking notes going, we can't keep up, we can't keep up. So that's the most fun, is to watch an idea that is nothing, like, come to life in 2 minutes or 40 seconds. So it's but it's loud and exhausting.
Well, is it hard to, you know, I want to know the art of learning how to keep a straight face, because you guys are all so funny. So first question, unfair, but I'm going to ask you, who in the troupe cracks you up the most?
Well, we all think Kevin is the funniest, like kind of without question. Just because he can just lift his finger and he can enter and just be funny in a way that, well, we all can, but he really can, you know?
Yeah, no, he's hilarious. So then when you are doing a sketch that is so freaking funny, how do you learn to keep a straight face? How do you guys do that?
Well, by the time you're doing it, you're inside it, so we don't do it. I mean, I do enjoy when we go on tour to be doing these weird scenes with Mark and just like look at him and he doesn't know what I'm doing. And then I just like bite his finger when he points it at me. And it's like, he just looks at me and now it's Mark and Bruce and we're out of character. Like some of that stuff is really fun. But the art is to be inside it and not enjoy it more than you should.
Yeah. What's that like for you to walk down the street and be, you know, to get stopped by a fan? You know, you mentioned earlier, you know, something that really touches you from this documentary that's coming out. But again, you guys have so many fans. Like, everybody was so excited when we found out that you guys are getting back together to do this show. So when you're walking down the street, somebody stops you, like, what's the best compliment that's really warmed your heart over the years?
Well, that we've helped get them through. And our show is not about us. It's about everybody, because we represent all the people with all their little weird struggles and the terrible families that they came from, and that we all just keep going. So I think kind of through COVID, it's nice that we're out, because our show is really just about kind of an exuberance that we can still do it. Oh my God, Kathy's old, but she's still at work.
Yes. Yeah. The Fax and the Firkin. I want to go to that place. Yeah.
Me too.
It seems like it would be a fun place to go, right?
I think it's on the Danforth. Yeah.
So what else is happening with you? What, you know, going to be doing more directing, you know?
I EP a show called Tall Boys that's on CBC.
Yes.
That's just being released in America.
Yeah.
I'm doing a one-man show in New York for a couple weeks in June.
Wow.
Yeah, and all kinds of that, and then all the others directing and stuff I'll be doing, and to be determined if we decide to do another season of this, but we'll see.
I hope so. I hope so. Well, listen, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the laughs. I love you guys so much. I'm so happy that you're back, and keep up the great work. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Bruce. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it too, Bonnie. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Have a good one. Take care.